From Mark Wahlberg's hate crime to Tim Allen possessing more than 650 grams of cocaine, here are the celebs you forgot have criminal records. First up, let's take a look at a longtime actor who recently stirred up controversy for his Oscars slap, Will Smith. In 1989, the Fresh Prince was arrested. He was involved in a fight so serious that one man was nearly blinded because of it. He ended up with a whole list of charges against him, including aggravated assault, recklessly endangering another person, criminal conspiracy, and even simple assault. So it was pretty serious, but the charges were all dropped later on. You might have been wondering why it didn't affect his career at all. Well, that's why. Now, Will got off pretty easy, but that wasn't the case for this next actor, who was caught with massive amounts of a Class A substance. Tim Allen was just 25 years old when he was caught by the enforcement for possessing cocaine. Actually, let me rephrase that. He was caught with an insane amount of cocaine. More than 650 grams to be exact. Now, there was no way he was gonna get off easy for that, and he ended up in prison. His term lasted 2.5 years, but Tim was once again in trouble in 1977 for driving under the influence. But this time, his punishment was a little less severe. The actor was sentenced to a year of probation, plus a period of alcohol rehab. Next, let's look at an actor whose criminal record resurfaced recently at the SAG Awards, Mark Wahlberg. It's not a secret that Mark has had a history of involvement with violence, but the true nature of what he's done is pretty grim. When he was 16 years old, Mark attacked two Vietnamese men with a wooden stick. It was so bad that one of them was left blind in an eye. This wasn't the only time he'd committed an act like this, though. In fact, he'd actually done this during his probation period. He'd previously attacked a group of black children. In this case, though, Mark was charged with attempted murder. He pled guilty to assault and was sentenced to prison for 2 years, but the actor only served 45 days. Now, his crime recently resurfaced because he presented an award to the All-Asian Everything Everywhere All at Once cast. People thought he was a bad choice because of his racist past towards Asians. This next billionaire founded a very successful tech company, but before that, he was out there breaking all the rules. Bill Gates. Yep, the tech genius was actually arrested in 1975. His crime? Driving without a license and speeding his car. Now, being arrested once for this should be a big enough deterrent, but it seems like Bill didn't learn from his mistakes, because in 1977, he got arrested for the very same thing. That is, driving without a license. Just 2 years after co-founding the Microsoft Corporation. This time, though, he added a little something. He was also caught for not stopping at a stop sign. Now, Bill opened up about this embarrassing moment in an interview with Time magazine in 2007. He said that this was the time he was out driving Paul Allen's car, and that he was put in with drunk people for the rest of the night. But this moment taught Bill an important lesson. He said that ever since then, he always keeps a good amount of cash on him, just so he's able to bail himself out. Next on the list, I have a member of the Kardashian family. Can you guess who? It's none other than Khloe Kardashian. It was one of the family's most controversial moments. In 2007, Khloe was caught driving drunk. She might seem perfectly polished nowadays, but that's all after a lot of work on PR. This Kardashian sister was sentenced to 3 years of probation after her arrest, but the reality TV star actually broke the terms of her probation. She was then sentenced to 30 days in jail the following year, but she only served 3 hours because the jail was overcrowded. Now, how the Kardashians handled this was actually a masterclass in handling public image. They said that around the time Khloe got into trouble with the law, it was the time of her father, Robert Kardashian's death anniversary. And that was the reason she was so upset, when actually her dad had passed away 6 months after that date. But in a reality TV show, I can't really blame them for twisting the narrative. Now, this next rapper is a big name in hip-hop history, but the crime he committed was probably story even bigger. In 1999, Jay-Z got wind of someone bootlegging his record, and, well, he wasn't too happy about it. A record exec called Lance Rivera had allegedly bootlegged Jay-Z's Volume 3. So the rapper decided to take matters into his own hands by stabbing Lance. Yep, Jay-Z used a 5-inch blade to stab this guy at the Kit Kat Club, a nightclub in Times Square that's now been shut down. This all went down during a release party for Q-Tip's album Amplified. Other associates of Jay-Z were accused of causing issues at the club. Apparently, the rapper used all this as a cover while he stabbed Rivera in the stomach. But he surrendered to the police the very next day. He was later released on a bail of $50,000, but he pleaded not guilty. Later, he opened up about this moment, saying that he realized later that there was no reason to put his life on the line like that. And now, he's vowed never to be in a situation like this again. Now, this next actor was caught with drugs, but there's an embarrassing detail about the whole ordeal that you'll never believe. Matthew McConaughey was arrested back in 1999. A neighbor made a noise complaint about him, and the police came to investigate the matter. The police found Matthew at his home, dancing naked. They then searched his house and found illegal substances. As if being caught by the police wasn't humiliating enough, he was later charged with possession of marijuana and drug paraphernalia. Later, the drug charges against him were dropped, but it seems like he felt bad for pissing off his neighbors, because he ended up pleading guilty to the noise complaint and paying a $50 fine. Now, let's take a look at an actress who used to shoplift before she found fame on The Hills, Stephanie Pratt. She was arrested when she was just 20 years old. Stephanie was out shopping with her friend, or should I say, stealing. Both of them were arrested for shoplifting more than $1,300 worth of clothing. The duo was charged with second-degree theft, but that wasn't the end of their woes. Besides all the stolen clothing, the police also found drugs in their bag, and Stephanie was then also charged with promoting a dangerous drug. Now, it seems like she never really got clean. The actress even got arrested during her time on The Hills, but after that, it seems like she decided to get her act together, and Stephanie agreed to take on a 30-day course in alcohol rehab. To wrap this up, let's look at another rapper who has a pretty intimidating criminal record, 50 Cent. He was arrested in 1994 for selling cocaine to an undercover police officer. The rapper was sentenced to 3 to 9 years in prison, but he only served 6 months in incarceration boot camp. In total, he's been arrested 3 times, but he really wanted to turn his life around and leave his criminal past behind. That's why he adopted the name 50 Cent, as a metaphor for change. Well, there you have it. These were the celebs that you forgot had criminal records.